Well, Amanda, it's nice to see you again, and I trust you're keeping well.
Oh, nice to see you too, Rodney, and I hope you're well as well.
Very well, thank you. So, you're in the value chain management practice at KPMG, and it's very easy for us all to think about the fact that that group must be synonymous with supply chain planning. And so, we talk a lot about supply chains with COVID and disruption, but what else are you seeing today?
You're so right, Rodney. Value chain, supply chain. I feel like everyone uses those words very interchangeably and links them together. But if we only think about supply chain in the BCM space, then we're really missing it's any change that a business has happening that's driving value for the organization. So outside of traditional supply chain planning, an area that's very hot for BCM is digital and digital disruption. And that's something that impacts every industry. And people will say digital means technology. My company is not a technology company. This is not impacting us. But as much as they go hand in hand, digital is not just for tech companies. This is every industry. So as any company embraces digital in their business or going through a digital transformation, that is likely creating new value. And it changes, what is value for the company.
So that's really interesting, Amanda. And it has to be the case that almost every business today, even old line manufacturers, are thinking about digital and how they either enhance the customer experience or generate data that they can use to build better products and services. And I can imagine that it's overwhelming at times for businesses. So if digital does go beyond tech companies, what are some of the key considerations that people should be thinking about?
I tend to think of it as four big picture areas. So you hit on the first one right away, manufacturing. If you walk into your company's manufacturing facility and it does not look the same as it looked 5 years ago, they might be going through something with digital, right? So they could be automating the manufacturing line and trying to use digital tools to run that site better. And certainly we've seen COVID impact that as well when people, or as many people, couldn't be on site. But beyond, automation and machine automation, there's a lot with IoT and the Internet of Things and connected devices that really plays into manufacturing. So if I want to start monitoring my machines, I want to see if I have the ideal humidity or temperature in my factory site. I want to know if a machine starts vibrating, that could be causing an issue. So I want to track the data of the machine, and then I want to create algorithms and advanced analytics to use that data to say if a vibration starts to hit this number or if a temperature goes over this degree, it's going to cause my machine to break down or not run as optimally. That's really transforming manufacturing companies. I think the second big area would be digital in my product. So same as the connected device at a manufacturing site, if I'm connecting my products, then I'm taking my performance enhancement outside the lab, right? So I can do this in R&D. I can figure out the optimal conditions, but I want to start seeing how my products work in the real world. So if I have a connected device on my bridge and I want to see at what condition is the steel going to break. So I'm going to start monitoring the conditions. And same as manufacturing, I want to run analytics and figure out when do I need to go inspect that? At what condition will the tire fall apart on this tractor trailer? How far can I push my product, to have optimal performance, to know when it needs to be replaced? And then I can take that data, I can use it, I can sell it to my customers. That's, huge. And that's digital transformation for any product that you could be monitoring. The third one, ERP systems. So if a company is starting to think about, I want all of my subsidiaries, I want to operate around the world with one system instead of, scattered systems, they're starting to think more about their data. I have to be able to gather data from all of my companies and it has to be consistent. And once I have it, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to start building things like a data lake? I want to mine my own data. I want to have dashboards that give me better decision making. And that can really go, across the span of an organization. So if I'm in sales and marketing and someone implements a new ERP system and we're tracking our sales and marketing data, then I can go in and mine to figure out, when should I sell my product? How should I price it? When should I run promotions? That all can come from a company's internal data. I can also try to use my data, same as with a product, and sell it to other companies, create whole new revenue streams for myself. It just depends, when a company flips that switch on ERP, what do they plan to do? And, how long is it going to take to build those capabilities? The fourth one is, e-commerce, connected commerce. So when I hear e-commerce, and I don't know about you, I think about me, business to consumer, like you're selling your product to me. And of course I want, optimal performance in my app and everything, augmented reality. And there's a lot there from a next generation standpoint in the business to consumer space. Certainly very, very valuable. The very overlooked area for digital in that space is business to business, right? So how I sell, when I'm a company that sells exclusively to another business, how I sell to that business can be very significant. And as B2C has become really revolutionized, we're seeing a lot of the impact on the B2B side as well. So just because I sell only to other companies doesn't mean that my e-commerce, my connected commerce doesn't have to drive value and really become second level. And I said we were going to talk about supply chain because there is a lot more to value chain management than that, but it would be really unfair not to tie this back to supply chain a little, because that is also feeling the impact from digitization. So I can create a digital twin of my supply chain. So like a digital version of it to see where I'm going to have failures and where the disruption is in my supply chain. And then those dashboards, those analytics that we talked about, I can use them in sales and marketing. I can, just as equally use them in sourcing and supply chain for decision making. So all these areas in digital, they're creating new value for companies. We really want to put the tax lens on that. Did this digital transformation change my tax picture? Is tax aligned with the business? And making sure that we're really accounting for the new value that's been created.
So Amanda, this is just fascinating because, I take two very big points away from this. First of all, this whole discussion may be more impactful for people outside the traditional tech industry than inside, because they're grappling with a whole host of different things.
Absolutely.
And second, the traditional thought about, this is a supply chain, bricks and mortars type thing, that's just not, yes, it's important, but it's just not true that that's the be all and end all. And it really is grounded in the fact that businesses are moving at warp speed, if you will, to transform their own businesses. And so tax people have the opportunity to help guide and put governance around that really helps for long-term sustainability of the business. Fascinating thoughts, Amanda.
Absolutely.
Look, thank you very much for your time. This is super thought-provoking. Thank you for your time, and you have a good day today.
You too.